My brother stole our family business and kicked me out. Now their company is failing, and I refuse to save them. I'm 36, male, and I never thought I'd be telling this story. But here we are. My family ran a business, one of those old school operations where everyone is expected to get involved, whether you like it or not. My dad started it before I was even born, worked his ass off to make it successful. By the time I was old enough to understand, it was drilled into me that this business was my future. My parents made sure of that. They said it was for the family. After college, I jumped in, did my part. I studied business, so it seemed natural. I didn't mind working long hours, making sure everything ran smoothly. I knew I'd eventually help take over, but I wasn't in a hurry. My younger brother, R, was a different story. 3 years younger and always the golden child. Charming, talkative, you know the type. He didn't even care about the business at first, wanted to do his own thing, art, music, whatever phase he was in that year. Eventually, R hit a rough patch, and surprise, he joined the business too. I didn't think much of it at the time. I was happy for the help, and hell, maybe he'd bring a new perspective. But then things started to change, slowly but surely. It wasn't long before I was spending a lot of time alone with our parents. Decisions were being made that I wasn't part of. At first, I didn't think too much of it. We were family, right? No reason to suspect anything. But one day, after a long meeting, my dad asked me to stay back. The look on his face? Cold, unfamiliar. He told me flat out that they decided I was going to take the lead going forward. What? I asked, completely caught off guard. You're too rigid, he said, like he was just giving me a simple fact. Ours got new ideas, and we need that kind of innovation to move forward. Rigid? Me? I've been running the damn day-to-day for years, keeping this place afloat. I had been there 5 minutes, and suddenly I was the problem. It didn't sit right, but I didn't argue too much. Not then, anyway. It was just the beginning. A few months later, they called me into the office again. This time, I was sitting there smirking like he had won something. My father didn't waste time. We think it's best if you step away for a while, he said, his tone so matter-of-fact it made my stomach turn. Step away? I asked. What the hell are you talking about? We wanted to take the lead without any conflict, my mother added, her voice sickly sweet. You've been so stressed lately. This could be good for you, to take a break. A break? They were kicking me out. I stared at them, trying to process what they were saying. I had been here since day one, putting in more hours than anyone else, and now they wanted me gone. For R's sake, because he might feel conflicted having to deal with me. It was bullshit, but that wasn't even the worst part. No, the worst part was when they tried to get me to sell my stake in the company to them for less than what it was worth. Way less. Just take the offer, my dad said, like it was no big deal. We're family, it'll give you some cash, and you can go do whatever you want. You want me to sell my share for this? I pointed at the number on the contract they slid across the table. It wasn't just insulting, it was robbery. It's fair, given the circumstances, or chimed in, still smiling like a smug little prick. I should have fought harder. I should have told them to go to hell and walked out. But in the moment, I was too stunned, too blindsided by the whole thing. After all those years of loyalty and hard work, my own family was cutting me loose. And for what? To protect R's ego? To clear the way for his so-called innovation? I signed the papers, walked out of that meeting, and for a few weeks, I had no idea what the hell I was going to do. I'd built my entire life around that company. Now what? That's when the call came in. It was from a small rival company. Let's call them G Corporation. They weren't on our level, not even close, but they had always been trying to chip away at our market. They offered me a job, just a regular executive position. At first, I wasn't interested. After everything that had just happened, the idea of going to work for someone else felt wrong. But then I thought about it some more. Why not partner with them? I had the experience, the connections. If my family didn't value what I brought to the table, maybe someone else would. I met with the owners of G Corp, and after a few meetings, I made my pitch. I wouldn't just work for them. I'd come on as a partner. I even threw in some of my savings, a small investment. They agreed. I wasn't going to just sit on the sidelines. If my family didn't want me, I'd make sure their competition did. It wasn't easy at first. The company was small, and we were up against a giant. But I worked my ass off, just like I always had. And slowly, we started to make progress. Little by little, we gained ground. By year 5, something incredible happened. We overtook them. My family's business started losing customers. Nothing huge at first, but steady. Then, after 2 years of losses, things really started to fall apart for them. And the best part? I had no clue how to fix it. For a while, my parents stayed out of it. They had retired after pushing me out, leaving R to run the show. But as the losses piled up, my dad couldn't ignore it any longer. He came out of retirement to help. But by then, it was too late. I had already done so much damage. Turns out, he wasn't the genius my parents thought he was. Sure, things had gone well for the first couple of years. But that wasn't because of him. It was the employees, the reputation the company already had. But eventually, even that wasn't enough. Then came the day I had been waiting for. My father called. "We need to talk," he said, his voice tight with frustration. I met him at the office. My father, my mother, and I were all there. It felt like a setup, like some kind of twisted intervention. They tried to make it sound like they were asking for my input. But I knew what this was. They needed me to come back. "We could really use your expertise," my father said. "You've always been good with numbers. And we're in a bit of a situation." A bit of a situation. That was an understatement. They were bleeding money, losing clients, and their reputation was circling the drain. My mother tried to play the guilt card. "This is your family's legacy, You can't just watch it fall apart." "I already watched you let it fall apart," I said, leaning back in my chair. "You're just noticing now. You're making this personal or cut in. It's business. We need your help to turn this around." I looked at R, the same guy who had sat there while they kicked me out, grinning like he'd won. Now, he wanted my help? "No," I said, plain and simple. My father's face went pale. My mother's eyes widened like she couldn't believe what I was saying. But I wasn't done. "You kicked me out when it suited you," I continued. "You wanted her to run things, so you cut me loose. Now, you're losing, and you think I'm just going to swoop in and save the day? We'll make it right," my dad said quickly. "You can have your share back. We'll even give you a bigger stake." I stood up, done with the conversation. "I don't need your shares. I don't need any of it. I built something better without you, and I'm not coming back." They sat there in stunned silence as I walked out. I could hear my mother muttering something under her breath, probably some self-righteous comment about loyalty, but I didn't care. I wasn't coming back, and that was that. Over the next few weeks, they tried everything. They sent texts, made phone calls, even had my aunt reach out, trying to guilt me into helping. My mom was the worst, calling me ungrateful, saying I owed them for everything they'd done for me. "You wouldn't have gotten anywhere without us," she said over the phone one night. "This is your family. You owe us that much." I didn't owe them a damn thing. They made their choice when they pushed me out. Now they were reaping the consequences, and honestly, it felt good, watching their empire crumble, knowing they had to sit there and watch while I succeeded on my own terms. The rival company I partnered with, we're thriving. We've expanded, and we're now a major player in the industry. As for my family's business, they're still struggling, and they can keep struggling. I'm not coming back. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. So please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more stories like this one.